Hello, everyone. I am live and it is Sunday. Illuminating your Sunday Scaries is what we are about here right now today. And I'm doing it from my house today. And most exciting, in my opinion, is I'm doing it from my living room where there's the fireplace is behind me. So I'm actually going to get up. Hold on. I'm going to get up and I'm going to show you the fireplace. Oh, can you see it? Maybe you can't see it. There you go. There. Isn't that beautiful? I wish I didn't know how to set it up so that you could see the fireplace as well. And then this is the shirt. You matter. I just got this shirt. If anybody wants the shirt, let me know and I'll put it in the comments. I ordered it online. It was one of those ads that came across Instagram and I didn't think twice. I got the shirt. It says you matter. And then I don't know if you can see the back. And I can't read it. Can you see it? Oh my goodness. Can you see it? It says like, dear person behind me, you matter. You're wonderful. You're awesome. And then love the person in front of you. So I have decided that I'm going to be making this like my shirt whenever I go grocery shopping. So that people in line behind me can read it and feel loved and inspired and feel like they matter. So what do you think of that? Maybe I'll wear it every day. And I got this wonderful mug from my dear friend Donna. Specifically for this, she wanted me to be able to have it when we do Illuminating the Sunday Scaries / stories. And what's awesome is it matches my You Matter shirt. So it's like everything has come together. Everything has come together. My hair, maybe not. Feels like it's a little bumpy, but anywho, thank you, those of you who are here. It makes such a difference when people are here and when people are participating, whether you are on YouTube or you're on Facebook and you're sharing comments, it makes such a difference. I can do so much more when there is that interaction. So I thank you so much for being here and I strongly encourage you to participate. Use me. Totally use me during this time to help support you and to help you get through your Sunday Scaries. That is something I am honored to do and why I'm showing up every Sunday. So please, please take advantage of this time. Use it for self-growth, introspection, all of those things. And yeah, I don't know why the end was there. So yeah, if you don't have a cup of tea already, definitely go get a cup of tea. I always recommend having a journal. It's always good to be able to write things down as you learn and as they come up for you. Anything else that you need to make you feel comfy. So I'm so grateful I have the fireplace. But if you need a blanket or anything like that, I know weather has been funny. It's in the 50s here today in Salem, Massachusetts, but I know this week it got up to like 88 degrees. So who knows what kind of weather you're having wherever you are, but whatever is going to make you the most comfortable, please set that up for you right now. So before I do anything, I always want to create a space that feels safe for everyone. So I always set up agreements. I realize that if you're on Facebook and your name is your actual name, when you comment, your name may show up. Or if you're using YouTube and you have your actual name, some people have pseudonames, but whatever it is, whoever shares anything, I just please ask that whatever is shared in here stays in here. I know it's really hard when it's over the internet, but just having that energy that this is a safe place and we're not going to take it out of context. All right. The other thing is I ask all of you to have a willingness. a willingness and an openness and a curiosity to all of this work. I want that for you towards yourselves, and I want it for you towards this process, because I know that there may be some things that you've never done before, or there may be some things that seem strange. So I just ask for just an openness, a sense of wonder, a sense of curiosity. And if you are here, which there are some people watching, thank you so much. So grateful you are here. You matter. If you are here, just the fact that you are here is showing a willingness. I can't tell you how important willingness is in this work, right? In my opinion, every single person can use help and inspiration and guidance and hope at various times in their lives. And most of the time, right? We just need that. And if someone is unwilling or someone is not open for that, it's really sad, because then they may stay stuck. So just the fact that you are here and you are willing to be open to this kind of growth says so much. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Compassion and non-judgment. So there may be some things in here that I do. There may be some things that other people do, or other people say, or other people comment. And so I just ask you to please show compassion and non-judgment. The other thing is, I really hope that you have fun and you trust the process. And just remember that this is not therapy. This is not therapy. This can be used as a tool in your life. And if something comes up that you do want to dig deeper and go beyond whatever it is that we do in this time, I encourage you to do it with a therapist or a trusted expert. Okay. Anything else? Is there anything else that people need in order to feel safe in this space that you want to share right now? No? It's funny. After I talked about willingness and openness, I lost a bunch of people. I don't know what that was, but if you think you know, please feel free to comment. If you're like, oh, the way you said it was really whatever, you can share that with me. I don't know. I try not to watch. There's like an eyeball, and it tells me how many people are watching. I don't know how accurate it is, but I try not to watch it. But I do sometimes watch it. Is that human? Hopefully that's human. But yeah, so it was really funny. I had a certain amount. And then after I talked about like willingness and openness and like courage to do this work and grow and learn, it was like, it went back down. So that may be a big part of this too, right? It takes bravery and courage for us to look at our thoughts and the ways in which we think. And that is a huge part of illuminating the Sunday stories or the Sunday Scaries. The big reason why I started to do this is because I just feel like Sunday stories, Sunday Scaries can take over your weekend, and it can completely rob any kind of peace or relaxation or joy or fun that you may be experiencing on this sacred special day before most of us go into the beginning of our week. I realize some people have different schedules and things like that. It is my hope that you can start to learn what the stories are. You can start to discern what are things that you need to tend to and what are things that you don't need to tend to, so that you can have your Sunday be a place of restoration, be a place of rest, what it's intended for, right? What it's meant for. So we will work together. I'm going to be bringing you through various exercises today. And my hope is that you will enjoy the rest of your Sunday after this, and you will start your week on a positive note. So that is what I'm really, really aiming for and hoping for. Why does this work? I am so passionate about illuminating the stories that bind us. Those of you that know, I have a podcast that's illuminating the stories that bind us. I'm writing a book. I got my first version back from editing, and now I'm working on the next version. So I am so passionate about this. This is like my theme. I do workshops on illuminating the stories that bind us. I feel very, very passionate and motivated to help people illuminate stories that are binding them, because I believe that most of the stories aren't true. And or something that came up with a client this week was that the often everything is too complicated to be just put in one story. And it was this moment in their session where they were like, wow, whenever I think of a story, like I think that person is giving me that tone because they're mad at me or they don't like me, or when I just need to say to myself, like, it's more complicated than that. Because it's true. There's usually so many layers. And the same goes for Sunday Scaries. There's usually many layers to the stories that we hold on Sundays, and we're not going to be able to work through them by just having them spinning in our heads. And so the exercises that I give you during this time and that we can do together hopefully will help you feel like you have more insight, you have more knowledge, and you have more tools to navigate the Sunday Scaries. I believe that awareness is 50% of the solution. So if you can just even today gain awareness, that is 50% of the solution. The other thing is, if we can get ahead of these stories, that helps them to not hijack us. The stories then don't have the same power to lead and take over our Sundays, our weeks, our lives. So if we can do this work together, it helps you get ahead of the stories and not have them impact you as much. I also believe that this work works because it helps you tap into your inner wisdom. Another thing that happened this week, I mean, this happens every week. I was doing some parts work, which is part of the work that I will do today. I do mindfulness and I do parts work. But I was doing parts work with a client, and I said to her, it was the first time I was ever doing parts work with her. And I said, one of the reasons why this work is so important to me is because I help facilitate you accessing your inner wisdom. And you better believe that your inner wisdom can come up with so much more than I can, because you essentially are an expert of your own lives. You are an expert of your own parts. So I love that part of this work. I love being able to facilitate and help people tap into their own inner wisdom. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. And if you don't believe me, just please try it. Try it today and you will see it. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to be doing some mindfulness. Hopefully identify your Sunday Scaries and find out if there is a particular or specific part that is hijacking your system. And then come up with one tool or action item that you can take into the week, feeling more empowered, feeling like you can do something. All right. So it's 4:12. I think we can do that. All right. So I always start with just basic mindfulness and just getting centered and grounded and seeing if we can identify some of the Sunday Scaries or the Sunday stories. So I have my journal. I like to do it alongside of you. Sometimes it ends up just being me sharing the stories, but that's okay. Sharing mine and disclosing mine, but that's all right. If you're getting something out of it and it's helping you, that's all that matters. But I do strongly encourage, if you do feel open and willing to share any comments that you have or anything that comes up, I promise you it will help you and the other people involved. So yeah. All right. So I'm not sure how many of you have done mindfulness before. All you need to do is just follow my voice. I'm just going to be following basic grounding. And yes, sometimes when we first get quiet, I was just listening to Brene Brown today in her book, Gifts of Imperfection. And she was talking about how when she first started to meditate or do yoga, she found it would be overwhelming to just be alone with her thoughts. And so sometimes people avoid this for that reason. I never judge the monkey mind or having racing thoughts as good or bad or right or wrong. And invite all of you to feel a sense of compassion for any of it, and that it's all part of the process. I have been doing this for over a decade, and I still will have monkey mind, or I still will have racing thoughts or something come up. And I just do my best to not judge it, because when you don't judge it, then it just kind of passes by. It's when we judge something that it adds its energy and it adds the intensity. So you'll notice that when I guide you, I will help to bring you back to your breath, help to have you notice the thought, and then keep on moving. So that's what we will do. But the first exercise is just kind of doing a scan of how you're feeling physically, how you're feeling emotionally, and what your thoughts are. All right, so let's start with that. Oh, goodness. So just sitting in the chair or any support that you have right now, whether you're lying down or you are sitting up, and just noticing the support that is underneath you, feeling yourself supported by the chair. So like, for example, right now I am in a chair and I'm just feeling myself supported by the chair. The other thing I'm doing right now is my feet are touching the floor. So I'm feeling myself, my feet, the bottom of my feet supported by the floor. So I just invite all of you right now to just start with that. Just start with that. Feeling yourself supported by whatever you're sitting on or lying down on. And that alone can be calming and comforting and bring you to the present moment. The next thing that I'm going to invite you to do is just notice the sounds. Noticing any sounds around you. And for those of you that still have your eyes open, this is a moment where you can just notice the sights. You can notice things around you. And if you feel comfortable, just closing your eyes at this point. So again, you're feeling yourself supported by the chair. You're feeling the floor beneath your feet. Or if you are not sitting or lying down, just bringing your energy to your feet. Noticing the sounds. Noticing the quality of air. And next, I'm just going to invite you to connect with your breath. I am telling you, people, if there is anything that you can take from this time today, is the power of your breath. Just taking a moment right now to just connect with your breath, noticing what it feels like on the inhale, noticing what it feels like on the exhale. That alone can help you calm. And as I mentioned before, a lot of times when we first get quiet, that's when our mind can start to race, or that's when physical sensations can come up, or even emotions can come up. And if that happens, I invite you to come back to the present moment and use your breath. Use your breath. You can notice the thoughts. You don't have to judge them as good or bad, right or wrong. And just use your breath to come back to the present moment. So again, just following my guidance, I want you to just take a moment and notice how you feel physically right now. So taking note of how you feel physically, maybe where you feel certain things. Like for me, I can feel a lot of tightness in my shoulder and in my upper back. So I'm feeling that and just noticing that, again, without any judgment. And next, just noticing any emotions that you may be having, noticing any feelings. And again, without any judgment as good or bad or right or wrong, can you just be an observer? Can you just be a neutral observer of what emotions are coming up? And just taking note of whatever emotions are coming up. And next, and this may help you identify your Sunday scaries, notice your thoughts. So just take a moment right now and notice whatever thoughts you're having. And you may want to write them down. Okay. So just feeling your feet on the floor again, or bringing your attention to your feet, noticing what you feel like in the chair that you're sitting in, noticing the quality of air. And when you're ready, coming back. And does anyone want to share something that came up physically, something that came up emotionally, something that came up in their thoughts? Maybe they did have Sunday scaries that came up. Um, please, 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 please feel free to share. And I guarantee someone else can relate. So I'm just going to wait a moment for people to share. And I hope you do. I'm listening. I'm here. Anything that came up physically, emotionally, or your thoughts, or maybe what it was like for you. Maybe you want to talk about something that came up for you when you did it. So again, just going to wait a minute because there is a bit of a lag with this. Okay, so one of the things that came up for me that I was quickly able to observe was a sense of tired. This was kind of a tough week for our family. Some things came up. So I felt like I was feeling that. Um, the other thing that I noticed was my thoughts. I was definitely not in the present moment. So I I noticed that I was thinking about what I was going to have for dinner. I was thinking about, now this is such a confession. I was thinking about Love is Blind. Love is Blind. There's an 8 p.m. live Love is Blind. I've been watching this season in particular quite devoted. It's been like my guilty pleasure, or my way of kind of checking out a little bit and watching Love is Blind. I don't know if any of you watch it. Anyway, so I was thinking of that, and I watched these thoughts, and I thought, okay, Jen, you're not in the present moment. What's going on? And again, some of that may be some of the residue of this week and things that happen with family, and just being a little bit scattered, I think, as a result. So what about all of you? Does anybody want to share anything before I move on to the next step? I am hoping that someday when I do this, like, the comments are like all over the place. That I almost can't keep up with them, and I have to like pick and choose, because I would love to be sharing this with more people, and I would love for more people to benefit, because I think the more that other people do this and the more that other people share, other people benefit from it, right? So, okay. All right. It's okay. We'll keep moving for the people that are here. I know there's some people who are watching these afterwards, so we'll just keep moving. Keep moving. We'll keep moving. Okay. Okay. So this next part of illuminating the Sunday Scaries has to do with parts work. And all of this parts work comes from Richard Schwartz's internal family systems. So I feel incredibly passionate about his work for internal family systems. For those of you who do not know what internal family systems is, internal family systems is a therapeutic approach, again, founded by Dr. Richard Schwartz. And it's the idea that we have an internal family system. So within us, we have various parts that are born from our family of origin or from a traumatic event. And these parts are all created as a way to try and help our system. So they're completely benevolent. So some of us create a people pleaser. Some of us create a perfectionist. We have all these different parts that, again, are born out of our family of origin or from traumatic events. And again, they're all trying to have our system be in balance, to have our system feel as calm and as soothed as it can be. Now, there are 3 different types of parts. There are managers, so the people pleaser, the perfectionist, those are examples of manager parts, because they're really trying to help manage and control various parts of the system. Firefighters are the parts that are like addictions, so food or sex or any sort of addiction, alcohol, drugs. And, the firefighters come into our system as a way to exterminate, right? A way to get rid of all the feelings. So suicide is the ultimate firefighter, right? That's the idea that that will solve all of our pain and all of our problems. So again, the goal is to kind of work with these parts and help them balance so that they're not working in an extreme. The last part, exiles, those are all the parts that I would say are like our wounded children, though it can happen as an adult as well. But it's these like inner child parts that are wounded and that we have shoved and hidden. So they're in exile. There is also the part of ourselves that is our self with a capital S. And that part has 8 C qualities. So that part is creative. That part is courageous. That part is curious. That part is creative. Did I already say that? Confident, connected, clear. I think I already said curious, right? I'm almost positive I already said curious. It's funny, I'm trying to picture the blackboard in my office. So, creative, courageous, clear, connected, confident, calm. I think that was calm. I think calm was the other one I wasn't thinking of. Calm, connected, confident. I think I had all of them there. I think you have all 8. So we are born with ourself with a capital S. Some people may call it your wise self. Some people may call it divine self. Some people may have another name for it, but basically it is the part of us that has all of those 8 qualities. And we try to build ourself so that it can heal and put into balance these other parts. Why am I doing this in relation to Sunday Scaries, or in the case of my book, the stories that bind us? And it is because I believe strongly that a lot of times the story can be connected to a specific part. The story can be connected to a specific part that is hijacking your system. So a lot of Sunday Scaries, right, are just like the name. They're probably connected to an anxious part of ourselves. So the more we can be aware of that, the more we can start to connect with that part, the more we can start to understand that part. And then, of course, the more that we can soothe that part and try to put it into balance. So that is what my hope is for this second part of our time together. That if I can help you identify a specific part that may be holding or feeding your Sunday Scaries, we can then help calm that part. So that alone is a tool that you will learn today. But the cool thing is that when we do this work, that part will also give you information that can become a tool. That part can also, in the guidance that I provide, that part can help give you information that will help you go into your week, navigate your week, and so on and so forth. So, are you ready? So, are you ready to do parts work? Again, all you need to do is be willing, be curious, be non-judgmental, be compassionate, and just listen to the sound of my voice and allow me to help guide you in this process of getting clearer about the part that may be hijacking your Sunday, that may be causing your Sunday Scaries. So we're going to get super clear about what that part is. And then we're going to work with that part and see if that part can tell us more about why it's hijacking your Sunday. And 2, if it can tell us what it needs in order to calm down. And that is the tool. That is the action item. That is the takeaway that you can take from this time together today, and then implement it and employ it into your week and be that much more empowered. Okay. All right, everybody. So, let's begin again with just the basic grounding, right? Just the basic grounding part. Okay, so you're just going to feel yourself supported by the chair that you're sitting in. Take a moment to connect with your breath. And again, if you're having any thoughts racing or you're having any intense emotions or physical sensations, just notice them. You do not have to judge them as good or bad, right or wrong. Just notice them and bring your attention back to your present moment. And so in this quiet space, I want you to bring your Sunday scary to the forefront. So, whatever it is that you are feeling today as your Sunday scary. So, maybe you can go back and you can think about where you feel it physically, right? Where do you feel your Sunday scary physically? So, for me, I'm definitely still feeling it in my upper back. Like, I'm definitely, remember in the beginning, I was feeling that. Definitely still like a tightness in my upper back, feeling it in my shoulders, kind of a heaviness there. So my Sunday scary is there. And so the next step is that you, in your mind's eye, so in your imagination, and I could go into all the brain science of how healing the imagination is, you're going to imagine the part unblending from your body, so separating from your physical body, and putting it at a conversation distance. So again, you're imagining this. It could be that you're imagining that in the room you were in, you're putting this part at a conversation distance. It could be that you are in a completely imaginary room and you are separating from this part. So I know it's a lot to put your head around, but so for me, I'll just kind of break it down for you using me. So remember, I was feeling the tightness in my shoulders and the heaviness and my upper back. So in my mind's eye, I'm going to take that part out and I'm going to separate it and put it at a conversation distance. Now, because of the other work of noticing the thoughts and the other awareness work that we're doing, I know that this is a Sunday scary that I had brought up already, and that is the stuff that's happening with my family right now. So it is very clear to me that that's the part, right? You may have a different part. And so I encourage you to really get to know what part is coming up for you right now. Maybe you have a part that's worried about something specific going into the week. Maybe you have a part that, similar to me, had something happen earlier this week or this weekend that still has residue and still is impacting you and you're still trying to process, right? So, whatever it is, trying to just gain awareness around that, because again, there's so much power in just that insight and that awareness. If you can name it, you can tame it. So, just being able to take a moment and name it, you're already going to be able to tame it. So, naming the Sunday scary or naming the part right now that is hijacking your system. So, for me, the part that I said that I was feeling in my upper back, the part that I was feeling definitely in my shoulders is definitely a worried part. I told you that there were some things that happened with my family. So just feeling worry about it and probably a sense of sadness too. But I think that would be a different part. So just for the sake of everything, I'm just going to say my Sunday scary is a worried about my family part. I don't know if you have a part that kind of came to you, if you want to share it on here, that would be wonderful. And I can help you work with that part. But that's just the first step. We have now separated from the part that is causing the Sunday scary. And now we have that separated from us. So again, feel free to participate and I can help guide you more specifically. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going in general and hopefully you're getting something out of it. So again, in my mind's eye, I have this, worried family member. So everybody's imagination is different. I know for me, I often will envision like a cartoon character or I'll envision a version of myself as these parts. Those are usually the two things. Sometimes it can be really creative. Like I may have self-disclosed in here before. My anger part is definitely the Hulk. For those of you who know that show or that comic, like when I work with my anger part, it literally looks like the Incredible Hulk, all green and big and muscular and angry. So for this part, so for me, imagining this worried part that is kind of weighing on me about things with my family, let me just sit here. And so in my imagination, when I look at this part, it may be a version of myself, but it just seems like a very, very nervous woman, a woman whose jaw is kind of shaking, chewing her nails. So again, this is our imagination, and I am telling you, it may sound crazy, but our studies show that imagination can literally change your brain in a healing way. So I highly recommend it. It may seem strange, but just imagining and separating this part, you're already changing your brain in positive ways. So I have this part across from me. I hope all of you now have the part that's holding your Sunday Scary across from you. So the next thing is you ask the part a question. So again, I'm going to ask my part this question. I encourage all of you to ask your part a question. And that question is, what is your intention and purpose in overtaking and in hijacking my Sunday or hijacking my system? Right? The fact that you're feeling a certain way, right? So for me, it's that stress on my shoulders and upper back and just like a kind of a tiredness, right? So I'm going to ask that part. For me, it's a worried part. What its intention and purpose is in kind of taking over my Sunday, taking over my system. So I encourage all of you to do the same in your imagination or in your journaling, asking what is the intention and purpose of taking over. And just listening. A lot of the times, the part has a lot of wisdom. So just listening. So when I asked my worried part what its intention and purpose was, it was like, I just want to make sure that we're covering everything and that we're helping, our family in any way that we can. And we are identifying things that we can control and things that we can't control. And so I just thank the part for any wisdom that it shared with me. Thank it, honor it, right? That's usually it. I mean, that's a pretty helpful thing, right? That's a pretty helpful thing. So usually the next step is just saying to the part, thank you for doing all of that. But I have to tell you, you're stealing the joy of my Sunday, and there's really nothing that I can do in this particular moment. So this leads to the next question. Asking the part that is causing your Sunday scary, what do you need in order to step back? What do you need in order to calm down? And then again, just listening. So I'm going to ask my worried part what it needs to step back and what it needs to calm down. So I hope you were able to gain some wisdom. Take a moment to write it down if you haven't already. And again, if you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love for you to share anything that came up. So for me, my worried part, the part that's causing the Sunday Scaries for me, said that what it needs is for me to savor every moment. So to fully be in whatever moment I'm in, to fully immerse myself in any moment that I'm in. It also told me to quiet my mind, and that in quieting my mind, my body's going to be able to relax more. So, again, I encourage all of you to hear the wisdom of whatever your part said. That was, I feel like I have more wisdom from the part, right? So, again, I'm going to thank the part for sharing all the wisdom that it shared with me. And so, in my imagination, I am looking at my worried part and I'm thanking it. And I can even see that the worried part is a little bit lighter. So, again, that's the magic of this work. Like, even the worried part is calmed by me just listening to it, by me just taking the time to ask it questions and listen to it. It's just like us. Our parts are just like us. Our parts want to be seen, our parts want to be heard. So, me just taking the time to do that has allowed, this calming and soothing. So again, I'm thanking the wisdom part for thanking the worried part for all the wisdom that it shared with me. And in my mind's eye, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to imagine that part reintegrating with my system. Because again, that is the goal of all this work. It's the idea that we do not have any bad parts. And they all have a purpose in our system. We just sometimes have to unburden them, help them feel lighter, connect with them more, understand them more, which we did today, which is really cool. So I'm imagining my worried part coming back into my system and integrating. I'm just taking a deep breath and doing that. And just thanking yourself for doing this work. Again, it goes back to the beginning, right? The fact that you were willing, the fact that you were open, the fact that you were courageous and curious. Thank you so much for doing this work. And then just taking a moment to feel yourself supported by the chair you're sitting in, taking a moment to hear the sounds. I can hear Misty snoring. She's right at my feet snoring. I can hear the fireplace crackling. I'm just taking a few deep breaths, noticing the quality of air around you. And when you're ready, coming back to our time together. Thank you so much for spending another Sunday afternoon with me. Please spread the word. Maybe this is something that you could do with friends. Maybe this is something that you and a friend could do where you can be connected through me and do this work. If anything came up during this time together that you would love just further exploration with, you are welcome to send it in as a Dear Jen, letters to Jen, and receive my advice and wisdom back. So I'm going to send that to you right now. Actually, let me write letters to Jen. So here's the link if you would like to just send an anonymous letter and receive my response back. And if you'd like to take it a step deeper and be a guest on our podcast, you're welcome to do that. And again, that can remain anonymous when you do that. And what's really cool about that is, again, you illuminate your story, and then Shannon Ward and I will prescribe a song to help you break through that story. So this is the podcast application. And if this helped you in any way, if you found that this is helping you and you feel moved to do so, please send a donation. It doesn't hurt. It helps me, and it is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for taking this time. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a calm and peaceful and restful Sunday. I know I'm going to do that. I know that I am better just from doing this. So thank you so much. And I hope that you feel the same. Take good care and feel free to give me any feedback that you wish to give me. This is fairly new, and really would love more people to be a part of it. Take good care. Bye-bye.